Hollywood has never gotten Resident Evil correct. They've put out half-decent pieces of content surrounding the franchise, but we're not talking about 90% films here, and Welcome to Raccoon City was a movie that disappointed tons of Resident Evil fans, myself included, but it seems like the production company actually decided to double down on it since it looks like they are actively working on a sequel. I have a few different things to show off, but before we get into the topic, if you enjoy the content that I create, please make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell. Follow me on social media like Twitter or mine so that you can see when my content is posted. And of course, if you do really enjoy the videos and the live streams that I create, please consider becoming a Dark Titan via Patreon or a supporter via YouTube memberships. So starting with this GameSpot article, a sequel to Resident Evil Welcome to Raccoon City is in production, and this is just such bad news. They need to scrap this, they need to leave it in the past, because this movie was not good. I mean, people did not like this film. I see no reason to follow up on it, but it says the 2021 reboot of the Resident Evil movie franchise might be getting a sequel, with a report suggesting that funding for the project has just been allocated. So this is a rumor at this point. It's a report. Take it with a grain of salt, but it does seem like money has been passed in order to create this film. A report by Sudbury.com, a new outlet for the region in Canada, states that an $11 million cash injection has been secured by the local government for 20 projects in the area. The report, first picked up by PC Games N, goes on to state that one of those projects is named Umbrella Chronicles, which is being developed by the film company Raccoon HG Film Productions, the same company behind Resident Evil Welcome to Raccoon City. Given that the Sudbury area is also where the movie was filmed, it seems plausible that all of this evidence is pointing towards production on its sequel starting sometime soon. I hate this idea, okay? The movie was just not good, and most people didn't like it. I mean, look at these user and critic scores. The all critic was a 30, the top critic was a 21, the verified audience was a 65, and the all audience was a 45, so it just didn't stick with people. It was mediocre, and of course it changed the entire backstory of the city, which I had major problems with. It was more like a small town in the film. The characters weren't exactly the same as they were in the games, and they shoved the plots of the first two games together, meaning small details or important story beats were completely missing, and it just felt very rushed and forced together. In my opinion, it didn't come close to the first two Paul W.S. Anderson films, and I see no reason why this deserves a sequel, except for the fact that Netflix also tried the TV series and canceled it, so it's almost like they wanted to one-up Netflix and say, no, we're gonna continue with it. I mean, there is of course a chance that before they even created the first one, they signed for multiple productions, so they have to do at least like one more movie with the same cast, but we just don't have a lot of details at this point, and it's all only speculation, but it does appear that this sequel is in the works. Obviously, there are hundreds of ratings here, so I can't go through them all, but I figured we would read just a few. People are saying things like questionable casting, ridiculous performances, particularly by the actor playing Leon, and the attempt to squeeze two very rich stories together in only one movie severely drags this down and makes it hard to watch. They did try to shove both of the first two games together, and it made no sense because they are such rich, deep, interesting stories themselves. I guess maybe it's because Netflix didn't want to pay for two individual films and they thought that this would work out, but it made it a worse experience than it needed to be. Oof, this sucks. This is kind of just a bad movie. We also don't know what the budget for this film was, but it felt pretty low budget. They actually had a couple of bigger names in this movie, like the actor who plays Wesker's in Umbrella Academy, but that's about it. That's all that it had going for it. I have played all of the Resident Evil games, and this is not at all like the games. It failed at every opportunity to make an adaptation. It lacks the pace of the games, the charisma of the characters, and it lacks the dangerous tone of the games. I feel like they made a family movie for the franchise. It is very bad. I am really sorry for the actors. And yeah, ultimately the actors are just doing what they are told to do. So when, like, Leon's actor acts really weird and just kind of edgy and tries to be funny, it's not his fault solely. He's just doing what he was told. Why can't they get this franchise right? Visually, it was okay, but they totally disrespected Leon, the poster boy for the franchise, turning him from badass into Mr. Bean. Also tried to run with too many ideas at once. Should have either set the film in the mansion or jumped straight to the city section. Resident Evil Welcome to Raccoon City is a movie made by someone who obviously took the time to play the video games and read the background stories, but then decided to go completely off kilter and rewrite things that didn't need to be rewritten. As an avid, diehard RE fan who has played all of the games multiple times over, I was really looking forward to a movie adaptation, but this one failed. I see what the director tried to do, but the acting, casting, and cinematography is just wrong in so many ways. So those are just some audience reviews of this. If you haven't seen it yet, I recommend that you don't, because it's just not good. But don't even get me started on the TV series, and they've already canceled this. It is sad to know that this is one of the last pieces of work that Lance Reddick was in. He's a fantastic actor, and I thought that he did do a good job in this movie given the information that he was handed, the part that he was given. I did feel like emotionally and charismatically he captured Wesker. I did feel like, yeah, I wasn't a big fan of some of the changes in general they made, but Lance Reddick was one of the best parts of this just god-awful TV series. And even though Netflix did not do this Welcome to Raccoon City film, it is still very clearly an attempt made to create Resident Evil content. I mean, it seems like multiple companies do want to make something successful surrounding Resident Evil, but no one can nail it. Obviously, if they do release a sequel, I don't think it's going to go all that well. I think that people have already given up on this new iteration of Resident Evil. Maybe they'll make a fantastic movie, but I highly doubt it. But yes, it does look like a sequel is currently in the works. But that's all that I really had to discuss in this video. Let everyone know your thoughts in the comment section down below. If you enjoyed this and of course found it important and informative, please make sure to give it a like, share it, and subscribe to the channel. And of course, if you didn't, make sure to give it a dislike. I appreciate your support either way, but I will talk to you all again in the next video really soon.